Hello everybody, it's Dark Strider the YouTube Assassin, and today I have another video where I want to talk about Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Now, as you could tell from the title, I'm scared. I'm very scared. As we get closer to this E3, I'm very nervous about what Assassin's Creed Odyssey is going to be. Alright, and let me explain what I'm talking about. First of all, you've all seen that little 5-second video where we see a soldier kick another soldier into like the sky. All right. People have been analyzing this video and everything. I'm sitting here like, what? Why are we analyzing a 5-second video? And, you know, I've heard everything from this is the person that we're playing as, the male version, to, you know, like this is just, you know, two soldiers fighting, or, you know, all kinds of other things. It's absolutely insane. I don't know how we're getting anything from a 5-second video other than, you know, it is officially called Odyssey. But, you know, I digress. That's just one thing that's just been going around the net and just making me crazy. But the other things that are making me crazy, you know, everybody's on board that this will not be a Bayek sequel. And, okay, I can accept that. If it's not going to be a Bayek sequel, and it's going to be, you know, just another Assassin's Creed game, there's a couple of things that, you know, just, you know, we didn't get closure to, you know. First of all, we all know that so far as the rumors are telling us, that it's going to be 100 years after the events of Origins, which will make more sense than 100 years prior to Origins, because prior to Origins, it would retcon this game, which is retconning what we discovered in Assassin's Creed 2. I did a video a couple of months ago where, and I'll put that in the description below, where I looked into the Assassin's Tomb in Assassin's Creed 2, and there's at least 3 or 4 other assassins that predated Bayek and Aya, even though they are supposed to be the originators of the Brotherhood Order. So, you know, we let that go. I figured, well, maybe, you know, those people were like, you know, spiritual ancestors to the Brotherhood. Maybe, you know, they discovered, you know, things about those assassins or those people, and they just, you know, worship them as assassins, or they give them credit like they are assassins. You know, that would make kind of sense instead of retconning the whole thing. So, you know, I was okay to let that go. But you can't retcon a retcon. You can't just, you know, come out and say, hey, look, now we're doing this 100 years before the Origins. You know, that would make no sense. I don't see how they would get away with that. So 100 years after, that does make sense to me, and I'm okay with that if it's 100 years after the events of Assassin's Creed Origins. On top of that, 100 years after Assassin's Creed Origins would mean that, you know, it would be at least 3 or 4 generations of people. So Bayek and Aya would still be fresh in the minds of the assassins for that time. Okay? You know, back in those days, you lived to maybe about 30, you know, and then you died because we didn't have the advances in medicine that we have today. So, you know, like I say, that would be like a grandchild, a great-grandchild, and they would know about it, you know. But there are like a bunch of things that, you know, kind of rub me the wrong way. First of all, Ubisoft promised a year-long commitment to Assassin's Creed Origins, all right? And that was translated as events, possible mini DLCs, support, add-ons, things like that. And then they just, you know, Far Cry 5 came out and they just cut it out completely. They stopped all that altogether. So, you know, we don't even have an explanation as to why. But, you know, they've done this before where they've broken what they said they were going to do, like with the Trial of the Gods. There was originally supposed to be 4 gods, and then it got reduced to 3. All right? So, I mean, 3 gods as opposed to 4, that's not big of a deal, but, you know, you cutting your support to everything that's going on, that's a problem. You know, there's a couple of things that, like, I want to see. You know, there's a couple of loose ends that they did not tie up for us. You know, we don't get to see how Aya ended up in Bayek's tomb. You know, you know, we could accept, you know, maybe he died and, you know, she ended up there later. You know, she ended up saying, let me be buried with my first
You are
husband or
sad
whatever,
because you did not have any.
and that would
You're
make
not
sense.
very good at this,
That would be
Major.
okay.
You're
But
not making me feel any
we're
better.
not
There is no
seeing
way to make
a
you
bunch
feel
of
better.
other loose ends like in
There
the
is only
Curse of the
tomorrow,
Pharaohs.
and then the
What
next
happens
day,
at the end of the Curse of the
one
Pharaohs?
moment at a time.
You gave that
What you say
piece
is
of
true.
Eden to the
I just
kid,
don't
the
think I can
Set
face
or
it.
whatever his name was,
I want to show you
and
something.
when
I will
he
return
took
soon.
that item,
Hey,
he
try not to
ended
jump.
up dying in the
There were some
desert
herons
alone,
nearby,
and the
down by
piece
that
of
tree.
Eden was missing. So, what does that mean? Does that mean that, like he played him or what? There was a lot of loose ends. That's another video that I did, and I'll put that in the description below so that you can see that one as well, where I questioned what was going on. There's a lot of loose ends that are not being tied up in Origins. You have to explain to me, how did you get to Greece? How did you end up there? How did the Brotherhood spread? All I'm seeing is, what happened here in Origins, in the Hidden Ones. We saw how they spread a little bit. And Curse of the Pharaohs. We see that they had reach out there, but they did not exactly have any assassin brotherhood out there. So what was really going on? How did this happen? How did this all go down? There's a lot of questions that I have about all of this. Okay? Now, one of my main worries is that all of those things that they were going to do for Assassin's Creed Origins, they end up doing in
I've
Odyssey.
got what I need.
They take
I
everything,
should give the feather to
all
the
the
girl.
little DLCs, things like that, and they put it into Odyssey. I will be mad. Let me tell you. Another game series, Destiny. Okay? Now listen, I liked Destiny, all right? I had a lot of fun with it. I caught it right before The Taken King came out. And, like I had a lot of fun, but there was like just some things that were kind of messed up. I had the DLCs. I completed both the DLCs. Then all of a sudden they changed up. They said they're doing the expansion pack, The Taken King. Now, The Taken King, it wasn't part of your DLC pass or whatever, your season pass. They said that it was an expansion, not a DLC. So, you had to pay for that, made a bunch of people angry. And, even that, I was just like, okay, whatever. I didn't pay for a season pass for Destiny. I actually bought Destiny, and I was lucky enough to have all the items come with it, all the DLCs and everything like that. So, to other people who didn't get that deal, they were angry. All right, and I could see the anger in that. I feel for you. But then Destiny 2 came out, and when I played that
Careful, it's
DLC,
steep.
I was kind of
Now
upset.
you are worrying about heights? I've got
I was
something for you.
actually angry because I felt like Destiny
This is for
2
you.
could
A
have
heron
just
feather.
been,
Why?
It is a
an
semi-ritual.
expansion to Destiny 1. That's how
I'm
I
sorry.
felt. I felt
I
that
must
it was
seem
kind of,
childish.
like messed up that they did
Believe
that.
me.
But,
No, I
that's
understand
what
your
they
grief.
did. That's how they felt that they could
That's
make
why
that
you
money.
knew what to say, isn't it?
So it is what it is.
Did you lose
But
someone
I'm
too?
hoping
Many have
that
lost
that
loved
is
ones to the
not the
Ptolemies.
case
Does it get
with
better?
Assassin's
It gets
Creed
better,
Odyssey. I don't
but
want
you
to
will never
see,
be the same.
I don't
Yes,
want to see
I already know
Assassin's
that.
Creed Odyssey
What is your name?
as a bunch of
I am
leftover
Tuaa.
pieces
I am not from
of
here. I come
Origins.
from
I
Crocodilopolis.
don't want to
I am
see
Bayek from Siwa.
Assassin's Creed Odyssey
What are you doing in
just
Soknopaiodessus?
reminding me
You're
of
from Siwa?
things that could
I can
have
tell.
or did
You're so
go
nice.
on
Your people are
in
kind.
Origins.
I didn't
Okay?
want to waste my life
That would
sewing and weaving for my
anger the
father.
living daylights out
Then
of me.
I met my
That would
husband
upset
and
me.
we eloped.
Let's hope that this
We
five
didn't have
second
much,
kick
but
that we
we were
see in the
happy here.
beginning of
You
this
should return to your
E3
family.
teaser, I'm
They will
hoping
miss
that
you.
that's a kick to another
You
soldier
could
and
be
not
happy
to the
again.
fans.
I
You
can't
know?
go back to sewing carpets.
There's a lot of things
Besides,
that
my
they
father.
really, really have to fix. They have to tie up a bunch of loose ends. They have to, like let us know how they spread. They got to give us an idea of what happened in Greece. Like, why is this going on? It didn't just pop up there. Another thing, we know how the Brotherhood started in Origins, but what happened with the Templars? Okay, they had to have been in order, and Bayek and Aya had to learn something about them. They couldn't just say, "Hey, you're fighting the Romans," or "You're fighting the line of Alexander the Great." That would have made no sense. There's a lot more to this that they didn't address, and they need to address. They need to get into that. They need to give us some kind of closure with Origins. You know, on top of which, when I see Layla Hassan, I want Layla Hassan not to just be like a turncoat and, you know, I'm working with the assassins and that's that. I want struggle. I want them to have to convince her. You know, she was so strong-willed and just, you know, with steel resolve when she's talking about, like, you know, building her own animus and the nonsense that's going on. You know, she killed those Abstergo agents, the soldiers that came to find her and everything. You know, that takes some kind of, like, you know, like mentality where, like, you know, okay, these are the people I work for. Instead of, you know, like going back to them and working with them, instead here I am just, you know, like taking them out and bragging on the phone and threatening that I'm going to uncover all these secrets without them. There's a lot of stuff that, you know, we need to see. I don't want, I want to see her have to be convinced by Miles. I want to see her have to be convinced by Rebecca and Sean. I don't want her to just jump right into the assassins.
I'll find that scorpion that killed.
That would just make me crazy. You know, like, there's so many things that, like, a lot of people want to see. You know, everybody's on board with Odyssey. You know, everybody is. We want to see a lot of good things happen for the Assassin's Creed thing. A lot of us are nervous because, you know, it's happening too quickly. Like I said, my worry is just a bunch of, like, leftover DLC and mishmash from Origins that they're just going to put into one game and try to give it a storyline and say, hey, this is Odyssey. You know, I'm really hoping it's not that. But anyway, what are your fears? What do you think is going to happen in Odyssey? I know a lot of you are nervous that, you know, it's coming out too soon at the end of this year, but then a lot of people are, like, still happy, like, hey, we get another Assassin's Creed game. But, you know, for those of you who are on board with the every 2-year plan, with the every, you know, 3-4 year plan even, you know, you guys do have some solid arguments, you know. But at the same time, I understand the other camp too, because, you know, getting a new Assassin's Creed game, that's just awesome. But, you know, will it be awesome is the question. So just drop in the comments below, what are your thoughts? What do you think of Assassin's Creed Odyssey? Do you think that it's going to be leftovers of Origins? Are you ready for a new story? Are you ready to say goodbye to Bayek and Aya? Do you want to see nods to Bayek and Aya? And what do you think is going to happen with Layla Hassan? What's her fate? Let me know in the comments below. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe. It helps the channel out a lot. And like I said, just let me know what your thoughts on Odyssey is. Are you as scared as I am? As always, thank you for watching.